started.
Okay, Anton Stred to e4. Let's see, played a French. Here, how about the old Scandinavian or center counter with knight f6? Okay, he's going for the gambit line. This can also transpose, but into other openings, but if he takes, that's the gambit. And this is pretty good for black. Black has control of the d5 square. He can play e4, bishop to c4, and looking out at the king side. e5, bishop to c5, rather. Okay, and yeah, d3 is the normal move there, but it does give up the dark squares. That's what white has, or black has for the pawn. Okay, the knight can come in here or here. So bishop c5, knight to e4. I might actually want to retreat the bishop, but that's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Maybe I should come out with bishop to f5 first, so that if he plays knight to e4, I can take it. And I'll put a little pressure on the backwards d-pawn. I could even think of knight to b4, and that would be a way of tripling on that pawn, and he only has two defenders at the moment. Okay, so he pins the knight. Let's kick the bishop and see if he wants to exchange. No, he wants to keep that. Okay, I still want to go bishop c4. So what's going to happen here? I mean bishop c5, knight e4. Is there some trick? No, I don't see any tricks. I could take the knight once with my bishop and then play g5 to kick his bishop. Let's try this. I'm not entirely convinced it works, because he could maybe play bishop takes knight at some point to disrupt my plan, but what I was thinking was, oh, I forgot about that move. Yeah, okay. So that's good. That hits the knight. And if I just castle here or play queen to d6, what would happen? Say queen d6, knight takes, pawn takes, and it's defended. And that would kind of force things. Let's do that. Queen d6. Now I'm threatening to take his knight and win a pawn. Get my pawn back.
Check.
And how about if I just castle queenside and just increase my pressure here on the d-pawn? Look at all of my development here. I've given up a pawn and I've suffered pawn damage on the king side, but look at all my pieces that have been developed. This ought to be good for something, if we believe what we've been taught in our chess schools. Yeah, I can't just take the pawn now. Can he defend it? Okay, he decides not to defend it, but bring out his queen and counterattack. That's a logical way to play. I can drop my bishop back, hitting the queen, and defending the pawn on f2. And then he's got a check.
Check.
And I can block with the pawn or move my king. I think I would rather just move my king over. Get my king to a slightly safer square, hopefully. And I can still take this pawn, I believe. But now he can put a rook on the d file. That has changed here, hasn't it? Well, I can play knight to d4 here. That looks like also a good move, a good square for that knight. Knight to d4, just blockade that pawn, and I can come in here with check. Knight to c2 check might be an annoying way of destroying his castling privileges. I didn't want to take that pawn and have to live with that pin on the bishop there. In fact, actually, it might lose. Bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. Yeah, I would straight out lose. So, what's he going to do? It takes him 2 moves to castle. He's got to get the bishop and the knight out of the way. And can he cover c2 here? He can bring the queen back to cover c2. No, okay, it's a bit tricky. The knight is covering those squares. The queen can't come back. The rook can cover c2 and stop me from checking that way. Okay, what other ideas do I have? I have the idea, okay, he's just going to ignore that. So I think I should do that, right? Knight c2 check just for the annoyance factor.
Check.
Now I could actually go to knight to b4, and I would have both the knight and the bishop on this pawn. So I could take, he takes, I take. I'd still have this kind of uncomfortable pin here, and I'm not sure I want to do that. How about putting the rook over here opposite the queen? I have to be careful. Notice my queen and my king are lined up on this dark square diagonal where he has the bishop. So I do have to be careful about this pawn push here, opening up the diagonal, or the f-pawn push. But I'm hoping to just have some activity here and discourage him from doing that. But maybe I should make one more king move. Go all the way to a1, a8 rather. His queen can just drop back to f3, but that would, prevent him from developing his knight. He just has really terrible development problems, and I can push these pawns forward on the king's side. Okay, so he ignored the idea of some kind of discovered attack on the queen. So if I play bishop takes, d3, and then he moves the queen, then I can take this bishop with check. So he has to take back, and then I can bring my knight back here. Where is this queen going after bishop here check? Queen can't go there, there, or there. This diagonal's out. It can go back here. It can go here. And it can go to, can't go there, there, or there, and go here. So just a couple of squares. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Queen only has a couple squares to go to. Right, has to go to h3 or h4. I don't see, or h5. Okay, anywhere on the h file can go. And now it's looking at this pawn and this pawn. And I have a dark squared bishop. Okay, well anyway, I need to rescue this bishop. Check. So he takes with the king. And now my knight could come back here with check. Knight takes, bishop takes. Kind of relieves some of the pressure on his position there, though, doesn't it? Can I coordinate on the... Yeah, let's just step aside. And bring my rook back to the d file. So at least my queen and my king are not on the same diagonal. This pawn is pinned by the bishop, though. That is something. Oh, one simple plan might be just to push f5, f4, and trap his bishop. Okay, the queen came back. Now f5 comes with tempo. No, it doesn't, because he can take the d pawn there. E pawn. Can take on e5. If I play f5, he can take on e5. So that doesn't work. If I bring this back here, check. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes, pawn takes. That loses the exchange. But I don't have pawn takes. And he's hitting my knight. So I need to rescue the knight. And knight back here doesn't work, right? Because knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. I can't take with the pawn because it's pinned. So how do I save that knight? I could sack the exchange here by taking off his bishop. I would open up a diagonal for his rook. A line for his rook. So rook takes bishop, pawn takes. If he takes here with the queen, then I'll retreat my rook. If he takes back with the pawn, then I bring my knight here, check. He has knight takes, bishop takes, and now I can take back with the pawn. If he tries to take with the rook, so he won't. But I will be down the exchange. Okay, other ways to save the knight. I guess here. It took me a long time to reach that conclusion. Yeah, he can start kicking things on the queen side. Kind of annoying. So what's this? I got my pawn back, so it's even in material.
Check.
Cleverly taking advantage of that pin, that's true. But it's just a trade. He can take back with the rook. And now I was happy to rescue that. I was happy to rescue that piece from. It wasn't doing a whole lot there, and it was getting chased around. Okay, so now I can unpin here. And he has to retreat that. Oh, we can go forward. Okay, that's true. Let's challenge that rook. Okay, stopping to think now. Well, we've been thinking, both of us, pretty well in this game. Spending our time appropriately, I guess is what I mean to say. I don't know if we've been thinking well. There could have been many serious flaws in our thinking. Okay, so he doesn't want to trade, and he wants to attack my pawn here. And if I play the pawn up, that gives access to the corner for the queen. So let's defend this way. Really, all I want to do is play bishop to d6 here, defending my e-pawn, and then push the f-pawn forward to drive his queen away. Drive that queen away. So he's going to try and just crash through there. I can take that because my queen is defended. It's not pinned. His queen is pinned. So we'll get to a situation with reduced material here. And well, let's see if I can still win this. I had to take the queen. Now he takes the pawn, and we count. It is 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 pawns each. He has the better structure here. He's no longer threatening to win the b pawn or invade with his queen. My bishop is a little out of play. Let's see. His bishop is threatening to take my h pawn. I don't want to forget that. I can't advance it because of his rook. I can kick his rook. Doesn't have any great moves. The square is under my control, so he can't check me. Or we could do a trade. Let's see. If I lift my rook here, activate the rook, he takes the pawn. I take this pawn. Or maybe go after his bishop and get that pawn. Let's do that. Go for the active play here. Maybe his rook will turn out to be a little bit out of play over here. His king can't defend both the bishop and the pawn, so I get one pawn back here. Give up a pawn, get a pawn. He has the outside pass pawn, so I was thinking if he plays bishop takes, maybe I play rook to h5, h4. It's kind of a fork between the pawn and the bishop, and his bishop can't come back to defend because my rook controls that square. But if he defends the bishop, then I have to take a pawn. And then, well, he could have just taken that. But actually this activates his rook and defends his pawn. So let's continue to play actively by attacking these pawns, which are kind of hampering my dark squared bishop anyway.
Check.
Let's see
Server
where he wants to
announcement.
go. His bishop is looking along this diagonal, so his rook could come in here and harass these pawns. I move my king here to defend my bishop in case he attacks along the second rank here. If he steps away from the h-file, though, I'm going to check. And, well, first let's pause to defend this guy. If he checks me, I guess I will run around to the other side of the bishop.
Check.
Yeah, I guess I have to worry about that bishop getting pinned, huh? So if he checks me again, I don't go behind the bishop because it would be pinned then. Okay, so here I should take another pawn while I have the chance. Then now, what to do about that advanced pawn? I can check.
Check.
And get behind this pawn. And then, let's see, what should I do here? Let's kick the bishop once. It's not working. Okay, so he's going to check me and then queen that pawn. I'll have to give up a rook to stop it. So I will have a bishop and some pawns in exchange for that rook. Let's force the issue here. Maybe I can get close enough to stop that pawn, actually. Yeah, his taking back here maybe was one tempo too slow. I think he needed to check right away and queen the pawn. Yeah, it's funny how hard it is to defeat these 1,200 rated players. I don't know how they get those low ratings, but they always seem to play well against me. Not always. I've had a lot of games where I do silly stuff and get away with it. Where they do silly stuff and I catch them on it. Okay. Okay, so let's take this pawn. So I am a bishop and a pawn up. Should be enough for the win. Make sure I don't lose this pawn over here, which is going to be like my trump card.
Check.
And make sure I don't run out of time, too. Those are the keys to success at this point.
Check.
And I feel greatly relieved. Also, this is not a funny rook pawn, so I don't have to worry about those rook pawn draws with the bishop of the wrong color.
Check.
Okay. And easily winning endgame. I'm just going to move quickly and defend everything. Okay, well, I scored a win. I'm happy about that, even if it wasn't the most convincing win. So I'll upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.